So it's winter here at the moment at Lake Bonney, which is great because the colder the weather the better for Milky Way photography. And by the looks of the skies, I've got zero cloud, which means that's going to be good for astro photography, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do to help me locate the Milky Way is use an app on my phone that I use quite a bit called Photo Pills. And it's good because it gives you that augmented reality where I can find a subject, put the Milky Way next to it, and get a frame for my camera. Now in particular, what I've found here, just on the western side of the lake, is this lone tree sitting out in the water. And it's got beautiful structure. I love the structure of this tree because I think what I can do is put the Milky Way in an angle where it kind of like goes parallel with this tree. I was driving along the northern side of the lake. I just had to pull over because I noticed this incredibly beautiful tree. And I think that's going to be an absolute ripper for the Milky Way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my Photo Pills app and I'm just going to double check to make sure that I've got things right, to make sure that the Milky Way is basically just directly above it. And the great thing is it should be pitch black here. There's just no lighting whatsoever around me. I love this tree. It's just got so much character. What I spotted with that tree from the side of the road, I actually found this little lone dead tree in the middle of the field here, and I'm thinking, oh boy, if I could get the Milky Way over top of that, it should make for a good shot, because it's just this little dead tree in the middle of nowhere by itself. But once again, I'll just check it with the app to make sure that I can get the Milky Way just above it. I can just make sure that that sky is nice and clear there. I think it'll be a good shot. What a great location. Middle of nowhere, little tree all by itself. Astro, let's give it a go. What a great spot for astrophotography here at Lake Bonney. The skies here are pitch black. It is so dark. The Milky Way is just into position now. So my settings on the camera are, I've got a 14 to 24mm lens. It's set at about 20mm at the moment. I've got f2.8 and the ISO is 2,500. And I'm doing a exposure time of about 20 seconds. I've found in the past that's always my go-to settings. Sometimes you need just to adjust it a little bit depending on how bright the Milky Way is, but more often than not, they're my go-to settings for the Milky Way. So that first location that I set up in didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So now what I've done, and unfortunately I didn't video this earlier today, I moved across the bridge here at Lake Bonney and I found this other tree, and I've noticed that the Milky Way is perfect right on top of this tree. The other thing is the tree's just a little bit further out in the lake. Once again, I've got the same settings, ISO 2,500, 2.8 at 20-second exposure. So anyway, I'm going to give that a quick shot and we'll see how that one works out. Wow, the light quality from this camera, fantastic. Okay, so I'm just finishing setting up. I've just made my way around to that second location that I found in the recce at that tree. And yeah, once again, I literally can look up and I can actually see the Milky Way. So it's that bright here. Now the ISO setting is still the same as before. It's ISO 2500 at f2.8. But for this one, I'm actually going to put myself into the shot underneath the tree, and I'm going to hold my lamp, my little lamp just here in my hand. The technique what I'm going to use, I'm going to set a shutter timer release for the camera here of 20 seconds. I'm going to get into position. I'm going to hold dead still for 15 seconds while the 20-second exposure is going. And just on that last 5 seconds, I'm going to turn the lamp on. Okay, everything's set up. All right, oh, if you excuse me, I'm just going to go and get a selfie. Well, there you go, a Milky Way selfie at Lake Bonney. I think that worked out okay. Anyway, I'm gonna head home. I'm gonna have some nice soup, go to bed, get up early ready for the sunrise. So from me and the Milky Way, it's good night from Lake Bonney.